Rosenberg.
And I'm Hosea Rosenberg.
And I'm Sophie.
We are here to tell you a little bit about our foundation, Sophie's Neighborhood, which was formed in response to Sophie's diagnosis of a rare genetic disorder called Multicentric Carpotarsal Osteolysis syndrome.
Also known as MCTO, and we are raising money to find a cure for this very rare disorder.
We hope that you'll join us in our efforts. Right now, Sophie's doing really well, but over time, as the disease progresses, she'll lose function in her hands, feet, and possibly other joints, and may lose function of her kidneys as well.
We would love to invite you to a very special evening with 5 amazing Master Sommeliers, chefs, food, and delicious wine.
First real, in quotes, hospitality job or working the floor was in Boulder. And it was at Nancy's back in the day. And my brother put it to me best because I was like, man, can you crank through, breakfast, lunch? What do you want to do? He goes, watch. Here's what you do. You do this. He set a plate down. He goes, that can either be $5 or it can be $20. Which do you make more money off of? I was like, count me in for dinner, man.
I was washing dishes in a restaurant in Taos, New Mexico, where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
It's funny because a couple of my buddies were working at this spot. It was like a summer job. And, when you're like a teenager, you just want to kind of be where your friends are. And so they were working. 2 of my buddies were working at this place called the Apple Tree Restaurant. And they were busboys. And I went there and I wanted to do the same job. And the chef told me, well, we don't have any spots on the floor, but we can put you in the dish area. And I was like, all right, screw it. I think maybe I get free food out of this job. And that's where it all started.
Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers, right? He talks about the idea that you need 10,000 hours to become truly great at any talent or skill. And I once calculated it out. I studied for about 5.5 years intensely studying wine. And if I committed 20 hours a week, which is I think, a reasonable assessment of what I did, 52 weeks a year. I've really only studied about 5,700 hours of wine, but I'll take halfway to greatness. So.
There's a lot of aspects to our industry, and they're all very valuable. Yes. And I think that to just do only maybe fine dining or just to do only one thing, you can learn so much from all the different aspects of our industry. And I think a lot of people miss that point, that there's something to be learned everywhere. Maybe it's about efficiencies at an Applebee's, or maybe it's about something else at a fine dining restaurant, but there's things to be learned everywhere.
But the key with it is it's a single-minded focus, but you've got to open your mind and your soul to the world and absorb everything around in this industry, because you're not only mentors, there's people, there's food. You learn some of the best people in the world was my mother and my grandfather cooking.
Said I had experience, and I really didn't have the experience needed for this role, but at first I didn't know which bowl or plate the food went on, and that was hard to figure out. But then, a couple years later, he was training me to be the sous chef, and I was taking tests. And the coolest part about that story is we lost track of each other for about 20 years, and I was doing LA All-Stars, which was a food event.
Right.
And it was about 5 years ago. And I found him out in LA, and he came to work with me, and he told me he had a son, and he wanted me to mentor his son.
What does a cause like Sophie's Neighborhood mean to you personally, to the restaurant Olivia family, and why was it so important for you to kind of put your weight and your name and your hustle and make some pasta for that cause?
You know what? So once COVID hit, we kind of reassessed our core values, and we added philanthropy to that.
Wow.
So ever since like COVID started happening, we've been trying to do as many meals as we can for people who need it. Something like this kind of, Heather has a daughter named Olivia. So we kind of put ourselves in that shoe. If something like this happened to Olivia, we wouldn't know what to do. And I say we kind of like I'm part of their family, but I kind of feel like that. So
you are.
When we hear about things like this, we kind of always want to help. And like I said, it's part of our core values, and something we truly believe in is helping people when we can. So something like this is easy and fun for us to do, and it could really make a difference.
We need a different way of searching for disease. We need a different way to give help to people with health issue. How can we do that? So if it's by raising money right now and helping the Rosenberg to do the right research, to bring the right scientists, it's a no-brainer. You have to do it, Otherwise, my job is kind of meaningless if it's just about popping up corks, and there is no points about that. So it's very important, and it's a minimum. It's a very minimum I can do. So.
And such a good human being, and as a father of 2 boys myself, something like that, just you got to support something along those lines. You look at all the challenges that are taking place right now in life across the board, and then you throw that on top of it, and it's your heart goes out to families that are dealing with stuff along those lines. So it's the very, very least that I can do to donate some wine and some time and be a part of it, and generate awareness and try to make sure that they have what they need. So
we look forward to you joining our family at this very special event. All 3 of us thank you on behalf of Sophie's neighborhood.